Hello, YouTube. It's Birdo Prey 5. It is Friday morning, the day after Star Trek Discovery, Season 2, Episode 7, Lights and Shadows. And by the day after, I mean, I didn't watch it till about an hour and 15 minutes ago. And it's only 40 minutes long. Minus, say 3 to 4 minutes between the introduction, the credits, and the end credits. So really, it's almost half an episode. Thank God. We've got 36 minutes of content. They didn't even do, usually, I don't know, but I was watching it, they didn't even do a CBS All Access didn't even show me what was on last week, which was fine. I remembered. But wow, I thought I was going to be there twice as long. But you know what? It felt twice as long. Words fail me. If you've seen this, you know what I'm talking about. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much CBS means to you, or they pay you, or what, but no, nobody can be okay with this. No one can be okay with this, and if they are, they're lying. They're either lying to you or they're lying to themselves. Okay? I could not make a worse Star Trek show episode if you paid me to. I mean you could have James Kirk go back in time and start killing fighting for the Nazis in World War II, and I could explain it better than the stuff we've seen here, because you know what, there was an episode where Kirk did dress up as a Nazi, him and Spock, real Spock, not this Spock, which we find for the first time. Of course, where was he? Right under everyone's nose on Vulcan. There were a couple of good moments. They I don't think they even lasted 2 seconds. Like instants of like, wow, that was funny or that was interesting. But you know what? They were so outwashed. And I'm going to just go by memory. And this is not going to, I know I say this all the time, this is not going to be a long video. This is not going to be a long video because look, I'm eating yogurt because I had to take a pill because this is not good. Not a good episode. I will do a more thorough live stream. We'll go scene by scene or something. But from the moment this episode starts, it is wrong. It starts with Michael Burnham doing a personal log, which, once she said personal log, that was the high point. All of a sudden, like she and Pike have to catch up on what just happened. Like they don't know what the hell is going on. She doesn't know. I mean, they were the main characters of last episode. This takes place right after the events of last episode, like minutes, hours after, perhaps, the last episode, and neither Michael Burnham knows what's going on with Captain Pike, nor does Captain Pike know what's going on with Michael Burnham. They both have to give each other a status update for no apparent reason except to let the audience know what's going on. Very early on, Michael Burnham says the stupidest thing, because of course She's like, she's requesting permission to go to Vulcan in a shuttlecraft. In a shuttle, wherever Discovery happens to be. Oh, remember, Discovery is outside Federation space because they are still in orbit of Saru's planet when this episode opens. So she's taking a shuttlecraft through non-Federation space to Vulcan, which is kind of the center of Federation space. So, and she starts off by saying, and Pike asks him, "How long has it been since you've seen your parents," or something like that, or he doesn't ask. She says, "I haven't seen my parents, either of them," or something like that, in a long time. You saw your mother 3 episodes ago. 4, whatever it was. Was it the first episode? I don't know. You saw your mother this season. Okay? Not that much time has passed. Not that much time has passed since the beginning of the season. Okay? We're talking days, weeks, maybe a month. We're not 6 months into Captain Pike's mission on the Discovery. And even if it was, 6 months for a Starfleet officer is probably not a hell of a long time without seeing your parents. And you saw Sarek. My God, you saw Sarek when Pike took command. Right? Sarek was in episode 1. So Amanda was in episode 1. Amanda had to be episode 2, 3, 4. You saw your parents not that long ago. And she honestly says they don't even remember. It's like the writers don't even remember. Holy shit, we just had her parents on the show. She's like, I didn't see them. Haven't seen them in a long time. And it's worse. And everything from there, it just goes worse. We meet Spock. We have a reminiscing of her with toddler Spock. And this is already going longer than I wanted. Big reveal. There's 1,000 of these. There's 1,000 of these. Spock. Spoiler alert. Spock had a learning disability as a kid. Yes. They called it Laktakari or something. Something they made up. Apparently, although they call it the Vulcan form of dyslexia, and it's so well known that even the Section 31 captain, Keelan, I don't give a shit. Whatever his name was. He knows of it. Because Vulcans are so open about such things. He's heard of it before. But it's not so common. Dyslexia is common on Earth. Apparently, no cure for that yet. Dyslexia is still common on Earth. But not so much on Vulcan. But it wasn't just dyslexia. The symptoms they give are more than dyslexia. They were certainly trying to portray general learning disabilities. Spock was a problem child, basically. He had he was not so smart growing up, at least not in the beginning. Apparently, Amanda knew this, but somehow the wool was pulled over Sarek's eyes, and he just believed that the Vulcan Learning Academy cured him of this common affliction. Although we have seen young Spock in the JJ films, and you know what? There's no reason to think that Nero coming back in time gave Spock or didn't give Spock a learning disability. So, we should know that young Spock, he seemed pretty damn smart. So yeah, that's another break in canon. I'm gonna call it out. Yeah, Spock learning disabled. So many things. Sarek, Amanda was the high point. I mean, don't get me wrong. Stupid as a brick. last episode, she was smart. This episode, nope. Dumb as a brick. I guess that's the phrase. Now I seem stupid. But no, this episode completely gone off the rails. But still the high point. And she's been hiding Spock in a cave that is made out of some mineral found only on Vulcan, which just happens to block telepathy. Oh, right, because when Michael Burnham lands the shuttlecraft in the rain on the desert planet of Vulcan, outside Sarek's house, which is surrounded by trees, because we remember that from this flashback of Spock as a kid, the brown leaf trees that surround the house. The rain is coming down when she lands on the desert planet of Vulcan with the trees around Sarek's house. And she goes in the house, and Sarek is in like a catatonic state. And Amanda comes and explains Sarek's been performing this ritual ever since he learned that Spock was missing. What is this ritual? I forget the name. But it is an ancient Vulcan ritual believed to guide lost people home. Yeah, it is it's not the Vulcan telepathy that Sarek and Michael had engaged in earlier in season 1. That's not it. That would be too convenient. Hey Spock, how you doing? It's your dad. I know we haven't talked in a while. Just want to make sure you're okay. No. This is a very illogical, almost faith-based, like he was praying. Sarek was praying for Spock's safe return in Vulcan, more or less. Absurd. And yeah, so then they find him in the rocks. Michael knows Amanda's lying to him when Amanda says she doesn't know where he is. She just bold-faced lies, too. I mean, Michael calls her out. She takes Michael to the cave. Spock is repeating numbers like something out of Lost. When Star Trek hits Lost levels, it's bad. Yes, Spock's repeating numbers. The numbers are the icing on the cake of shit that is this episode. The numbers are the icing. Sarek decides they're in the cave. Sarek, I guess, followed them over, and he's like, "Oh shit, you've been hiding Spock on me, you damn dirty wife of mine. How dare you? I'm the ambassador. I make the calls." And then Amanda goes, "No, we're partners." And she caresses his ear, and he's like, "Okay." But I make the call, and I say Michael Burnham needs to take Spock to the most logical choice. And Michael has already played up Sarek's ultimate logic. Like, she's the most logical mind she's ever known. So that's a mighty compliment coming from Michael Burnham. That Sarek has decided that she has to take... I can't even say it. She has to take Spock to Section 31. To Section 31. What the fuck? What? Why? Why not take him to your captain? Captain Pike? Oh my God. Breaking down. It's all breaking down. Take him to Section 31. Because Section 31 is going to do the best thing for him. Oh my God. And Michael does it. He doesn't take him to Captain Pike, his close personal friend, her captain, also in charge of finding Spock just as much as Section 31. No, she takes him to the Section 31 ship, which apparently she can find where it was, again in the shuttle, meets up with the ship in, God knows, seems like just hours, because it doesn't seem like all that much time has passed. I mean, this is another problem. The Orville has this problem too, and don't get me started. I'm going to get into the Orville later today also. Not good on the timekeeping. All of a sudden, the galaxy you can get anywhere you want in 15 minutes, apparently. In both franchises. But, she takes him to the Section 31 ship, and she has a talk with the captain, and the captain of the Section 31 ship seems really sincere. He almost convinced me that he was telling the truth. I gotta be honest. Like, oh, maybe Section 31 isn't that bad, even though we all know they're specifically designed to be evil. They have Georgiou, the space Nazi, on the ship. So they put Spock, a doctor from Section 31 is going to examine Spock. The captain says that Burnham is not allowed to stay on the ship because it's classified. But don't worry, Spock's in good hands. And makes an impassioned promise to her that he's going to take care of him. She believes him. I believed him. And she's going to leave Spock in the hands of Section 31. When Georgiou stops her in the hallway on her way back to the shuttle and says, Michael, I've disabled the cameras for 60 seconds. They're not going to help your brother. They're using a memory extractor. It's going to destroy his mind. You've got to save him. And she's like, Michael's, at least ask Michael, why would you do this? You know, you're an asshole. And she's like, well, I do it for you, which makes no sense. She's like, you are so much more than you know. And she's like, now you have to hit me. So we get a pretty cool Michael Georgiou fake but serious battle scene. I mean, she really hits her. They fight a few times. I mean, if they make it convincing. Because once the cameras come on, you see Michael fighting Georgiou, so it looks like Michael chose to overpower Georgiou, and of course she gave Michael a phaser. She took Georgiou's phaser, and she goes in, and of course she commandos, shoots everybody, gets Spock, makes it back to the shuttle on a Section 31 ship. The only person who ever catches up with her is Georgiou, who shoots her with a fake phaser that hits her in the shoulder but doesn't knock her down. And Georgiou's like, go. She gives her that look like, idiot, don't look at me, keep going, you got to get out of here. And they escape the ship on a shuttlecraft and fly into a asteroid field, and they apparently power down so that they can't be found. And then the Section 31 ships looking for them warp away after they've realized that they can't find anyone here. And the computer, the computer in the shuttle says Section 31 ships have left sensor range. Wow. Like, the computer knows they're Section 31 ships. Have we ever heard computers in Star Trek just say things like that? No. Anyway, then she goes back to talk with Spock, and that's when she realizes Spock's still repeating the numbers. She's like, wait, the numbers are backwards. And then she asks the computer to put in these numbers and see if there's any hit in the Federation database. And it takes the computer a few minutes, actually, like 2 minutes maybe. And okay, now I didn't even go into the B plot, which, oh my God. I didn't even get into the B plot, which we will save for the other video, because this is already It's already getting too long. But suffice to say, it is worse. It is worse. Until this point. Because at the end of the episode, this is where the A and B plots merge, and Burnham gets back to Discovery. The computer gets a hit. It gets a hit on those coordinates. And where do you think those coordinates are for? Talos 4. Yep. Talos 4. The big heads from the cage and the menagerie. The people that are ultimately going to give Pike a decent life after he becomes his ridiculous wheelchair beeping system. Yes, they have to go back to Talos 4. So now, if Talos 4 is in the Federation database, because I was not clear on the timing here, to be honest, this must have taken place after Enterprise visited Talos 4 for the first time. That means that Talos 4 is currently the only planet, the only death penalty still in use in the Federation would be to return to Talos 4. Which, you know what? Is exactly where they go next episode, because they show us the Talosians. Yes! They return to Talos. Again, we get back to Talosians. Why do they do this to us? It's if this is the first episode with the new showrunners, or that the old showrunners were fired, I gotta be honest, the first five episodes averaged out immensely better than this one. This may well be the worst episode of Discovery to date. Even worse than episode 3 of this season, where the guy gets killed for mansplaining. Even worse. They take the metaphors up to, not even 11, they take the metaphors up to 20 fucking 1. 21. I'm sorry for the F-bombs. In fact, the cursing is addressed in this episode. Tilly says freaking and some other sort of swear word. And Saru looks at her and she's like, well, you told me not to curse while on duty. The B plot, it's all about time. Total nonsense. Stamets saving the day because of his tardigrade DNA makes him immune to time, to temporal fluctuations. It is a disaster on top of a disaster inside of a disaster. It is the television. It's not television. It's streaming service. It is the streaming service equivalent of. I'm not going to say it, but it's a bad disaster. Fill in whatever you want, right? Whatever was most disastrous to you, whether it was 9/11 or the tsunami, the World War II, Pearl Harbor, the Oklahoma federal building bombing, whatever disaster hit you the hardest, it's that. It's that in television form. And I know people are going to say, don't go comparing real disasters. And I'll grant you, nobody died yet from Discovery that we know of from watching it. Although it felt like I legit feel it took time off my life. If I die, God forbid, Mom's outside, so she's not going to hear this. If I die in the next 48 hours, you go after Discovery. You go after them. Those people, Alex Kurtzman, he did it. He did it. He killed me. I have to stop. It is. Words have failed me. I hesitate to rewatch it because I don't know. It weakens me. It weakened me. Avoid. This is like in Star Trek 4. The whale probe is overhead. Yes, you know what? It's worse than the whale probe, okay? It's worse than the whale probe vaporizing the oceans. The whale probe is overhead, and this is me telling you, avoid Star Trek Discovery at all costs. Save your ship. Save yourselves. Avoid Star Trek Discovery at all costs. So that means if you happen to be in possession of a stolen, or not really stolen, but commandeered Klingon bird of prey, and you can make a warp jump back in time around the sun, you go back to before Star Trek Discovery was announced, and you do what you have to do to make sure it never comes to be. Even better, go back in time to 2004. Make sure Enterprise does not get canceled, because that would fix the timeline. That would fix so many timelines. And I'm out. I'm sorry. I know this was just, I needed to do this for my own mental release. It is bad. It's so bad. I wanted it to be good. God, I swear, I told my mom, I said, because I'm going to be honest, there's not a spoiler about the Orville, but it's just my feeling on the Orville. It was not good. I thought maybe there's a chance that we'll get the best Star Trek Discovery episode on the same night we get the worst Orville episode. Maybe there's balance in the universe. No such luck. Instead, we got the worst of both worlds. It's going to be it's going to be a long weekend. This is usually where I say Qapla', but there's no Qapla' in STDville today. So, until next time. Thank you all for watching my video. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell icon. Without it, you won't get notifications of new videos. If you want to visit me, check out my forum at juot.net. I'm also on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Gab. And if you're really crazy, you can send me some money on PayPal. Take care.